Hobby English Lab. Social English Listening.
Excuse me, is this seat free?
The chair is free. The tiny wooden cat on it may have other plans.
I can ask politely. Excuse me, wooden cat, are you saving this seat?
It is not answering.
A quiet conversation partner. We already have something in common.
You both take a long time to choose a topic.
That was immediate and accurate.
The cafe owner moves the wooden cat to the window. Now the chair is truly free.
Thank you. I sit down with my tea and try to look relaxed.
You are holding the menu upside down.
I said I am trying.
I am Mika.
And I am Alex. Today, we are spending a relaxed afternoon moving from one friendly table to another.
We begin at Corner Cup, a small neighborhood cafe with plants, warm lights and tables close enough for conversation.
Then we walk to a language exchange nearby. People meet there to practice different languages and enjoy a casual conversation.
Later, some of us continue to Lantern Table, a board game cafe where the shelves are full and the rules are not always clear.
That last part sounds personal.
Last time you moved a piece for 10 minutes before asking what it did.
It looked confident, so I trusted it.
The piece was a score marker.
It had an important journey.
Today is not about speaking perfectly. It is about finding a comfortable place and letting one moment lead to the next.
A question opens a seat. Another question opens a conversation. A shared game gives everyone something to look at.
We will meet Noor, who has come to her first language exchange, and Daniel, who knows the group but still prefers calm conversations.
We will also meet Rosa, who can explain a game without making it sound like a legal document.
A useful skill.
Especially when the game includes lanterns, boats, cards, weather, and one suspicious duck.
There is no duck in the game.
Then it is more suspicious than I thought.
Dear listener, settle in. You do not need to answer anything. Just follow our afternoon from one friendly table to another.
The wooden cat is watching the window, our drinks are warm, and the first conversation is about to begin.
It is just after 2 on Saturday. The language exchange begins at 3 in the community room across the street.
We came early because arriving calmly is better than entering while looking for the door, the host, and your confidence at the same time.
Corner Cup has 6 small tables. At the back, 2 people are reading. Near the window, someone is drawing in a notebook.
The counter has coffee, tea, fruit drinks, and simple cakes. I order mint tea.
I choose coffee and a small orange cake. We carry everything to the table with the wooden cat.
At the next table, someone points to an empty chair and asks, "Excuse me, is this seat free?"
The other person smiles and moves a bag from the chair.
A woman with a blue scarf comes in and looks around. She checks a message, then looks toward the community room.
She may be here for the same event. I smile, but I do not want to make her uncomfortable.
A small open question could help.
Excuse me, are you here for the language exchange?
She says yes. Her name is Noor, and this is her first time.
We introduce ourselves and show her the community room entrance across the street.
Noor says she arrived early because she was worried about being late.
So did we. We invite her to sit, but we leave the choice easy. You are welcome to join us if you would like.
Noor smiles and takes the third chair.
Is this your first time here?
It is Noor's first exchange in this neighborhood. She tried one online conversation, but a room full of people feels different.
That makes sense. A new place has many small questions. Where do I sit? Who do I talk to? When do we change languages?
And where do I put my coat without giving it its own table?
Your coat is currently sitting more confidently than you are.
Again, immediate and accurate.
Noor laughs softly. That small shared moment changes the table. We are no longer three strangers studying the room.
We talk about the cafe. Noor likes the plants hanging near the window. Mika points out the wooden cat.
Noor asks if it belongs to the cafe. The owner tells us a local artist made it years ago.
Soon we are talking about the cat, the music, and the rain outside.
The room has given us our first subject without any effort.
Noor ordered ginger tea. She says it smells stronger than she expected, but in a good way.
The clock moves toward 3. More people cross the street and enter the community room.
Noor takes a breath and asks what the group is usually like.
We explain that people sit in pairs or small groups. They talk in one language, then switch later. No one needs to perform.
If a conversation becomes quiet, the table has topic cards with simple ideas like food, music, weekends, and places you enjoy.
Noor nods. Shall we walk over together?
She says yes. We take our cups to the return shelf, check the table, and put the wooden cat back on its chair.
The cat has its social life again.
It never even looked nervous. The community room is bright and simple. There are 4 round tables, a water station, and a board with the afternoon schedule.
The host, Elena, welcomes us. She gives each person a name card and asks which languages feel comfortable today.
Noor writes Arabic and English. Mika writes Japanese and English. I write English and Spanish.
Nobody gets a score. The cards only help people find someone to talk with.
At our first table, Noor sits across from me. Daniel joins Mika, Noor, and me with a glass of water and a green notebook.
Daniel has attended before, but he says large groups still make him quiet at first.
I appreciate that honesty. Someone can know the event and still need a gentle beginning.
Eleanor suggests 20 minutes of English, then a flexible switch based on the people at each table.
There is no bell racing us. The room has a small clock and each group can make a natural transition.
We begin with names and where we live now. Noor lives near the river. Daniel lives close to the university.
Then the first small silence arrives. Nobody has done anything wrong. We are simply choosing a direction.
What would you like to talk about first?
Noor looks at the topic cards. Travel is interesting, but hobbies may feel easier.
Shall we start with hobbies?
Daniel says yes. He enjoys taking photos of ordinary streets early in the morning.
Noor enjoys cooking with her sister and watching mystery films. She especially likes stories where the detective is kind.
I say I like board games, walking, and trying to keep herbs alive on my kitchen window.
How are the herbs?
They are learning about difficulty.
Noor reacts at once. Plants do not learn about difficulty.
Your answer sounds familiar.
Because your plants and the wooden cat have similar speaking skills.
Daniel smiles and says his basil also had a short but meaningful life.
Now the table has a shared joke and 3 possible subjects: photography, cooking, and brave little plants.
Noor asks Daniel what he photographs. He says empty bus stops, store windows, bicycles, and light on old walls.
Noor asks why he chooses ordinary things instead of famous places.
Daniel says ordinary streets change every day. A bicycle moves, a shop closes, rain changes the color of the wall.
Noor does not know one word, so she asks, "What does ordinary mean here?"
Daniel explains that it means normal or part of everyday life, not famous or unusual.
Noor repeats the idea in her own way, so you notice beauty in normal places.
Daniel smiles. Exactly.
Then Noor describes a meal she cooks with her sister. It has rice, vegetables, warm spices, and a crisp top.
I do not catch the name of one spice. Could you say that once more?
Noor repeats it slowly and writes it in Daniel's notebook. Soon, the notebook belongs to the whole table.
Outside, a bus passes the window. Inside, the conversation is moving on its own now.
We started with one easy question. What would you like to talk about first?
The answer was hobbies, but the real result was plants, photographs, family cooking, and a comfortable table.
Daniel shows us one photograph on his phone. It is a wet street at sunrise with a red bicycle near a bakery.
Noor says the photo feels peaceful. Daniel uses the phrase after the rush, but the room is noisy and she misses part of it.
Could you say that once more?
Daniel repeats the sentence. I took it after the morning rush, when most people had already left.
Noor hears it this time, but she wants to check the meaning. Let me see if I understood. The busy time was finished, so the street became quiet.
Daniel says yes, that is exactly what he meant.
Noor smiles and the conversation continues.
Noor tells us about a mystery film she watched recently. She avoids the ending because Mika might want to see it.
Thank you. I like mysteries, but Alex likes to guess the ending after the first 5 minutes.
Sometimes I am right.
You once suspected the family dog.
The dog had access to every room.
The missing object was on a high shelf.
A very organized dog could still be involved.
Noor reacts immediately. She says we should never watch a mystery with Alex unless we hide the remote control.
Fair. That protects the pause button during my important theories.
Daniel asks Noor what she likes about kind detectives. Her answer is thoughtful, and she searches for one English word.
We wait quietly. Noor is still looking for the word.
Would you like a little more time?
Noor says yes, then finds the phrase, they pay attention without judging people.
Daniel nods. He says that is also a good quality in a conversation partner.
The room is becoming louder as other tables relax. We lean in slightly, but no one takes control of every turn.
Daniel asks me about hobbies. I describe making simple soup on quiet evenings and visiting small bookshops.
I ask what kind of books you choose.
Short stories, travel writing, and books about design. I like a book I can open for 10 minutes and still enjoy.
Daniel says he likes that too. Noor asks whether travel writing means travel guides.
Not always. It can be personal stories and observations about a journey.
Noor checks the idea. Let me see if I understood. The writer tells us what a place felt like, not only where to go.
Exactly.
Elena passes our table and quietly points to the time. We have been speaking English for about 20 minutes.
Shall we switch languages now?
Daniel would like 10 minutes of Spanish. Noor is happy to listen and join with words she knows. Mika moves to another table for Japanese. We finish Daniel's thought, then begin Spanish. I say the photo still reminds me of a film scene. Daniel describes the red bicycle in Spanish. Noor notices 2 words that sound familiar.
At my new table, 2 people are discussing weekend meals in Japanese. I ask what they were talking about, and they bring me into the subject.
Different languages, but the room keeps its calm rhythm. After the first conversation round, Elena opens the side door for fresh air. People refill water and move between tables.
Noor wants to meet more people, but one table already has 4 chairs close together.
Rosa and Daniel are there with 2 new people, Leo and Samira. They are talking about places to relax in the city.
We wait nearby until the sentence ends.
When the conversation pauses, Noor asks, "Mind if we join you?"
Rosa smiles and moves 3 chairs outward. Of course, we are talking about quiet places on busy days.
What were you talking about?
Leo likes the public garden near the old library. Samira likes a cafe with a long shared table and no loud music.
Daniel prefers the river path early in the morning. Rosa says her quiet place is lantern table before the evening crowd arrives.
Lantern Table is the board game cafe 3 blocks away. Rosa works there on some weekends.
I ask how Rosa and Daniel know each other.
They met at this language exchange last year. Their first conversation was about card games, and they have been friends since then.
Noor says that is encouraging. She arrived knowing nobody, and now she has already met 6 people.
Samira asks Noor how she found the event. Noor says a neighbour mentioned it during a walk.
The group has many voices now. It would be easy for faster speakers to fill every space.
Leo has started telling a funny story about getting lost inside a very small museum.
That seems difficult.
He says there were only 3 rooms, but each door led him back to the same old boat.
Perhaps the boat was following him.
Leo pauses and looks directly at you. Boats are not known for walking through museums.
Another immediate reaction. I respect the room.
Everyone laughs, but Daniel has not spoken for a while. Rosa notices without making it a public problem. Daniel, you mentioned a small museum earlier. Did it have good photographs?
Daniel says yes and tells us about one room filled with pictures of the river in different seasons.
The invitation connects to something he already said. He does not need to create a new subject from nothing.
Samira also looks thoughtful. Noor turns toward her and asks which season she enjoys most.
Samira says autumn, especially the first cool evening when people begin wearing light jackets.
I choose late spring. Mika likes early winter mornings and Rosa prefers summer nights.
Suddenly, the table has 7 answers but no debate to win. We can be different and still stay in one conversation.
Elena announces that the final group round will end in 15 minutes. No one rushes.
Rosa says she is going to Lantern Table afterward. A beginner-friendly cooperative game has arrived and she wants to try it.
Cooperative means the players work together instead of trying to defeat one another.
Noor looks interested but uncertain. She has not visited a board game cafe before.
Rosa makes the invitation light. A few of us are going. You are welcome to come, but there is no pressure.
Noor asks whether the game has many rules.
Rosa says the first round is simple and we can figure it out together.
The plan begins to form naturally. Anyone who wants can walk to Lantern Table after the exchange.
One friendly table is leading to another. Leo and Samira say goodbye after the exchange. Mika, Noor, Daniel, Rosa, and I walk 3 blocks to Lantern Table.
Lantern Table has warm yellow lamps and tall shelves along 2 walls. The room is calm because the evening crowd has not arrived. A staff member welcomes Rosa and greets the rest of us. We choose a round table near the window.
The shelves have tiny games, large boxes, bright cards, wooden pieces, and at least 3 dragons.
Noor looks at the choices and says she has no idea where to begin.
That is a normal feeling in front of a full shelf.
Which game should we try?
Rosa asks 3 useful questions. How many people are playing? How much time do we have? Would we rather work together or compete?
We have 5 players, about an hour, and we would like to work together.
The staff member suggests harbor lights. Players guide small boats home before a storm reaches the bay.
The box says 25 to 40 minutes. It uses cards, wooden boats, and a simple weather track. We take harbour lights to the table. Rosa opens the box and places the board in the middle.
Blue water, 4 islands, 5 boats, a lighthouse, and a row of cloud cards.
Daniel sorts the cards by colour. Noor places the boats near the outer islands.
I hold one wooden piece and wait.
Good. Please continue waiting until we know what it is.
Look at me, learning.
Rosa gives us the central idea. We all win if the 5 boats reach the harbour before the storm marker reaches the end.
On a turn, a player uses one card. The card may move a boat, light part of the lighthouse, or calm the weather.
Noor asks, "Could you show me how this works?"
Rosa demonstrates one sample turn. She plays a blue card, moves the blue boat one space, and draws a new card.
Then a weather card moves the storm marker. The example is clearer than hearing every rule at once.
Rosa returns the boat and the storm marker to their starting spaces. Now the real game can begin. Daniel asks whether players can show one another their cards.
Rosa says, "Yes, this game encourages discussion. We can decide together, but the active player makes the final choice."
Noor checks the idea. Let me see if I understood. We can share ideas, but the player chooses.
Exactly.
We each take 3 cards. Noor has 2 blue cards and 1 lighthouse card. Daniel has cards that may protect us later.
Whose turn is it?
Rosa points to the small lantern marker in front of Noor. Noor will begin.
She looks at her cards, then at the board. There is no need to choose quickly.
Would you like a little more time?
Noor says yes. After a moment, she moves the blue boat toward the center.
The first turn is complete. Nothing exploded, no dragon arrived, and the suspected duck remains absent.
A peaceful beginning. My turn comes next. I can move the green boat or add 1 light to the lighthouse.
The green boat is far away, but the lighthouse will help any boat near the rocks.
I ask the table what they notice. Daniel suggests moving the boat now because the weather is still calm.
Noor agrees. Rosa reminds us that the final choice is yours.
I move the green boat. Then I draw a cloud card, and the storm advances 1 space.
The storm is only a wooden marker, but everyone looks at it with concern.
5 minutes ago, they were only pieces in a box. Now we want every boat to get home.
On my turn, I play a lighthouse card with great confidence.
You place it on the weather track.
It seemed like an important area.
Rosa points to the lighthouse circle on the board.
Immediate reaction from the whole table.
Noor says the card has a big plan for the weather.
A very confident card. I move it to the correct place.
Nobody treats the mistake as serious. The game continues, and now everyone remembers where lighthouse cards go.
Daniel plays a calm weather card. The storm marker moves back 1 space, which feels like a small victory.
Rosa moves the yellow boat between 2 islands. Then she reveals a weather card with a wave symbol Noor has not seen.
What does that symbol mean here?
Rosa checks the small reference card. It means the nearest boat moves sideways with the current.
Noor checks the direction by pointing. This boat moves toward the rocks, not toward the harbor, right?
Right. We can prevent it if someone has a rope card.
Daniel has one, but it is not his turn. We check whether he can play it now.
The reference card says rope cards can be used at any time. Daniel places it beside the boat.
The blue boat stays safe. We solve the problem together without needing every rule in our memory.
We can figure it out together.
The sentence fits more than games. It means the answer does not need to come from one person immediately.
Halfway through, the board becomes busier. 3 boats are close to home, 1 is in the center and 1 remains near the outer island.
Noor begins explaining her ideas more freely. She suggests lighting the final part of the lighthouse before moving the far boat.
Rosa asks why. Noor says the next storm card could make the rocks dangerous.
Daniel agrees. He adds that his cards can move the far boat twice on his next turn.
The group chooses Nor's idea. She plays the lighthouse card and the circle becomes complete.
The little wooden lighthouse now protects 2 spaces. Everyone celebrates quietly because this is still a cafe.
At the next table, 2 people are playing a game with vegetables. Their carrots appear to be in greater danger than our boats.
I will leave their game alone.
Your turn arrives again. Whose turn is it?
Mine. I check the lantern marker before touching anything.
More visible growth.
I move the red boat into the harbor. Our first boat is home. The game enters its final part. 4 boats are safe, but the green boat is 2 spaces from the harbor.
The storm marker is also 2 spaces from the end. Every card matters, but the room still feels friendly.
Daniel has been quiet while studying his hand. Rosa asks whether he sees a path.
Daniel lays out 2 cards. One can calm the weather, the other can move the green boat 1 space.
Nor has no green cards, and her turn comes later in the round.
I have no green cards. Alex, what can you do?
I have 1 calm weather card, but no green cards.
Rosa looks around the table. 1 idea from each person.
Daniel suggests calming the weather first. Noor agrees because it gives the group 1 more chance if the next card is a storm.
I say, let's move the storm back first. Rosa likes that plan.
I play my calm weather card. The storm moves back.
Then the weather card moves it forward again. We are where we started, but we used a safe turn.
Daniel moves the green boat 1 space. Now it is beside the harbor.
Later in the round, Nor's turn arrives. She still has no green card.
She looks disappointed for half a second, then notices a lighthouse symbol on another card in her hand.
The completed lighthouse allows 1 extra move when a player uses that symbol.
Noor points to the rule card and asks, "Could you say that once more?"
Rosa reads it slowly. When the lighthouse is complete, a lighthouse card may guide 1 nearby boat into the harbor.
Let me see if I understood. The green boat is nearby, so Noor can bring it home now.
Correct.
Noor places the card, moves the boat, and all 5 boats reach the harbor.
We win together. Nor finished the game with a rule she asked to hear again.
The storm marker looks disappointed.
Wooden weather does not have feelings.
I knew that reaction was coming.
Rosa begins putting the cards in order. Daniel checks his phone and says he will head home soon.
Daniel checks the time. I am going to head home soon.
Nor thanks Daniel for helping with the rope card. Daniel thanks her for the lighthouse plan.
It was lovely talking with you.
Daniel says the same and tells Nor he hopes to see her at another exchange.
The goodbye is warm, and the next few minutes remain unhurried.
Daniel puts on his jacket. Rosa asks whether he remembers the way to the station.
He says yes, but he may stop by the small museum with the boat photograph next weekend.
We say goodbye at the door, then 4 of us return to the table.
Rosa asks if we would like another short game. Noor says she would rather talk and have tea.
That is a good choice too. Social energy changes during an afternoon.
We do not need to fill every minute with an activity.
The staff member brings a pot of tea and 4 small cups. Rosa asks, "Would anyone like some tea?"
Everyone says yes. Noor pours carefully while I return harbor lights to the shelf.
Did you check for the duck?
I found no duck, but I found 2 spare lantern markers.
Spare pieces are useful. Please do not begin a private adventure with them.
I place them back in the box without protest.
At the table, our conversation becomes slower. Nor says the afternoon felt different from what she imagined.
What did you imagine?
She expected grammar questions. Instead, they talked about plants, films, photos, quiet places, and a storm at sea.
A small wooden storm, but still dramatic.
Rosa asks which moment felt easiest. Noor says joining the larger group felt easier because she could ask what they were already discussing.
What were you talking about? That question gave her a bridge into the table.
The hardest moment was waiting for a word during the first conversation. She worried the silence was too long.
Rosa says the silence did not feel long to anyone else. We usually experience our own pause more strongly.
I was glad we gave Noor a little more time.
It gave support without supplying the answer.
Noor says the board game also helped because everyone could look at the same object. Eye contact was not required every second.
We could speak, point, wait, and laugh at one wrong card placement.
2 wrong card placements.
I was counting only mine.
The first was also yours.
Then the data is consistent.
Noor reacts at once. She says you made the same mistake twice.
At least I was consistent.
Rosa asks what Noor might do next time. Noor says she may bring a topic of her own, perhaps favourite meals from different cities.
She may also invite her neighbor, but she wants to return once by herself first, now that the room feels familiar.
After one afternoon, the room already feels less new.
The cafe is getting busier. We decide to leave the table for the evening group.
Rosa needs to stay because she is helping at the counter later. We thank her for choosing the game and explaining it patiently.
Noor says, "It was lovely talking with you."
Rosa replies warmly and says she will probably be at the language exchange next Saturday.
We put on our coats. I'm going to head home soon.
Noor is walking toward the river, and our route shares the first 2 blocks.
Outside, the yellow lamps glow through the windows. We can still see the round table and the blue Harbor Lights box on the shelf.
One afternoon began with an empty chair and ended with a few warm goodbyes.
The wooden cat would be proud.
The wooden cat has no information about our evening.
It has excellent sources.
Let the afternoon return as one connected story, from the first cafe chair to the last cup of tea.
Corner cup is quiet. A tiny wooden cat is sitting on a chair, so Alex asks if the seat is free.
The owner moves the cat. Mika and Alex sit down before the language exchange across the street.
A woman with a blue scarf enters and looks toward the community room.
Are you here for the language exchange?
Her name is Noor. It is her first time and she is glad to meet 2 people before entering.
They talk about the cafe, ginger tea, and the wooden cat. The place gives them an easy beginning.
At 3, they cross the street. Noor sits with Mika, Alex, and Daniel, who also prefers a quiet start.
What would you like to talk about first?
Shall we start with hobbies? Soon they are discussing photographs, cooking, films, and brave little plants.
When a word is unclear, Noor asks what it means. When room noise covers a sentence, she asks to hear it again.
Let me see if I understood. The busy time ended, so the street became quiet.
Daniel says yes. Her question makes the picture clearer.
During the break, Noor sees a group she would like to join. She waits for a pause.
Mind if we join you?
The group moves 3 chairs outward. Noor asks what they were talking about and enters the conversation.
Rosa mentions Lantern Table, a board game cafe nearby. A few people decide to go after the language exchange.
At the game cafe, tall shelves are filled with colorful boxes and wooden pieces.
Which game should we try?
They choose Harbor Lights, a cooperative game for 5 people. 5 boats must reach home before a storm reaches the bay.
Noor asks for an example. Rosa plays a blue card, moves the boat, draws a new card, then reveals the weather card.
The game begins slowly. The players point, ask, wait, and share ideas without controlling the active person.
Alex places a card in the wrong area. Everyone reacts, the card moves, and the mistake becomes a shared joke.
A wave symbol causes trouble, so the group checks the reference card together. Daniel uses a rope card to save a boat.
Near the end, 4 boats are safe. The green boat and the storm are both close to the finish.
Noor notices a lighthouse card in her hand. She asks to hear the rule once more and guides the final boat home.
Everyone wins. Daniel says he is going to head home soon, and the group shares a warm goodbye.
4 people stay for tea. Noor says the afternoon was easier than she expected.
She arrived wondering where to sit and what to say. She leaves with a familiar room, several names, and a topic for next time.
Outside, the cafe lamps shine onto the street. One social afternoon is complete. Near the end, a few small moments return, each with a place and a reason.
At Corner Cup, a new person looks toward the community room.
Are you here for the language exchange?
Yes, it is my first time here.
At the first table, 4 people need an easy direction.
What would you like to talk about first?
Shall we start with hobbies?
Room noise covers 1 sentence.
Could you say that once more?
Of course. I took the photo after the morning rush.
1 word still needs light.
What does ordinary mean here?
It means normal or part of everyday life.
Noor checks the idea.
Let me see if I understood. You find beauty in normal places.
Exactly.
During the break, a small group is already talking.
Mind if we join you?
Not at all. We can move these chairs.
What were you talking about?
Quiet places to visit on busy days.
Later, the group faces a full game shelf.
Which game should we try?
Something cooperative that takes less than an hour.
A new game is open on the table.
Could you show me how this works?
I will play 1 sample card and move this boat.
A wave card appears, and everyone looks at the reference card.
We can figure it out together.
The reference card gives us the answer.
Tea arrives after the game.
Would anyone like some tea?
Yes, please. 1 small cup would be lovely.
A friend checks the time and puts on a jacket.
I am going to head home soon.
It was lovely talking with you.
It was lovely talking with you too.
Each phrase belongs to a real moment. A missed sentence, a new table, a shared choice, or a warm goodbye.
They are small doors. You only need the one that fits the place you are in.
Our social afternoon is finished.
We began with a wooden cat saving a cafe chair.
Then 1 simple question helped Noor meet 2 people before her first language exchange.
Inside the event, hobbies became photographs, cooking, films, plants, and quiet city places.
Nobody needed a perfect sentence. People asked for a word, heard a line again, checked an idea, and waited through a pause.
A larger table made room by moving 3 chairs outward.
A board game gave 5 people 1 shared problem and many small chances to speak.
The boats reached the harbor. The weather was defeated. The duck was never found.
There was no duck.
A mystery remains.
Some moments were quiet. Someone noticed Daniel, gave Noor more time, and made an invitation easy to refuse.
Social English can be simple. Is this seat free? What were you talking about? Could you show me how this works?
And when it is time to leave, 1 warm sentence can close the day.
It was lovely talking with you.
Wherever you are listening, thank you for sharing these friendly tables with us at the Hobby English Lab.
May your next chair be free.
May your next group move a chair outward.
And may every cooperative game contain exactly the right number of boats.
That is a very specific wish.
I have learned to respect the pieces.
See you next time.
Bye for now.